Secrets in the corners of her lips. The bus was rumbling fast towards Jantapur when a hand brushed down the side of Dilkhush's waist and pinched her left buttock. A flush of heat raced through her body. Her throat tightened. She knew who the culprit was. That ass of a donkey had winked at her, even as he got on the bus. He needed a good tight slap, but instead, she clenched her jaws and tugged her white sari tighter around herself. Sauntering down the aisle in his leather jacket, the pervert had looked her up and down and bitten his lower lip as if he was playing a first-class film hero. More like third-class villain, she thought. He had maneuvered himself to stand behind her, bumping into her whenever the bus lurched. Throughout the journey, she had wanted to teach him a lesson, even lift him off the ground by his hair, arms, or legs, and spin him above her head before hurtling him to a distant planet. She had seen that in a film duel once, between a demon and a goddess with multiple arms. But Dilkhush didn't have multiple arms, and no one would side with a wretched widow like her. If only the villain could see what she was really like inside, then that hardened baton that he had pushed against her would soon shrivel. She looked around the bus, but there was nowhere to move in that jail of a suffocating area. This was her karma. In her younger years, hadn't she been hungry for attention, enthralled by villagers' comments about her filmy looks? Look at that girl's siren curves, and those high cheekbones on top of Sharmila Tagore lips, curving up at the ends as if tantalizing secrets are hiding there. Forget those. If she learns to flirt with her green eyes and jiggle those plump breasts, even her own father will be in danger. Dilkhush remembered replaying such words in her mind again and again, wondering what tantalizing secrets could hide in the corners of her mouth. She used to tinkle her voice and twirl her hair, showing a little skin here and there, relishing in the eyes that followed. But that was then. Years of torment and hard labor had taken care of all that. But that depraved, she was a washed-out widow now, and didn't want such attention. But that depraved donkey on the bus didn't seem to care. Another lurch and bump. The bus finally stopped, and the driver blasted his horn. He shouted for everyone to get off. People pushed past each other, chattering loudly to be heard over the grunts and squawks of pigs and chickens tied up in sacks. Dilkhush bent down to pick up her cloth bundle, inside which were all her other possessions. Another white sari, 2 opium pellets, a newspaper cutting, an old peacock feather hair clip, and a faded photo of her family and friends in Jantapur, dressed in their finery. In the picture, her young daughter Jia was wearing the feather hair clip that she now carried. As Dilkhush straightened up with her bundle, she saw the villain. He had gone ahead, but was twisting backwards to leer at her chest, which had become slightly exposed when she had bent down. Something snapped inside her. As if she hadn't gone through enough, she had to live wary of such people. She knew very well these perverted men preyed on lone women like her. Even the holy city of widows had taught her more than only dead-eyed chanting in return for a cup of grains. Each day, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Each night, Hare help me, Hare save me. When the debauched landlord at the widow ashram lifted her sari and rammed himself inside her on his wooden bed. As the bed frame creaked, she cried and televisions blared in homes and hotels around them. Temple bells continued to peal and gods and goddesses continued to be worshipped. Through tears, when Dilkhush reminded the landlord about the holiness of the city, he smirked. True, we are in the holy city that sprang with the Ganges from Lord Shiva's hair, but Lord Shiva is the destroyer who enables renewal, whose lingam emerges from the yoni, and it is worshipped by women who pour milk over it. We are simply worshipping together, aren't we? You're a cursed widow seeking resolution. What better way than to destroy the old you and renew like this? Dilkhush ached to get her daughter back. She would have suffered anything for that to happen. But her dark void never got filled in that holy city, and she didn't stay there to chant for years and wait for the guilt and rage to subside. Instead, she sought out her brother. To appease his wife, she slept in their cattle pen. But even living felt like a betrayal, having lost her daughter. And Dilkhush slowly died inside. And now that a chance had come for her to right that horrific wrong in her life, this villain was on the bus licking his lips. Who did he think he was? She wished she had the nerve to teach him a lesson. But would someone stand up for her if she faltered? The bus was almost empty now. Only an old couple stood between her and the villain. In a split moment, without pausing to think it through, her mind raced towards an attack. The old couple slowly got their belongings together. He was in an orange dhoti, struggling to pick up a small suitcase. She was sliding the handles of a crocheted bag onto her wrinkled wrist. Dry onion skins scattered from the bag and floated down to her feet. Without fully knowing what could happen, Dilkhush stretched her arm out towards the villain. "Hey, you!" she said in a hoarse voice. Her tongue was thick and dry. "You perverted brute! Have you no shame that you're leering at this poor old mother like this?" It didn't even sound like her own voice. The few people left in the bus turned around. "Look at her! This poor old woman is old enough to be your grandmother, you dirty swine! And you're bending your filthy mind and body to gawk at her chest. If your mother ever knew, she would be ashamed for ever having let you dangle on her breasts." Paying the villain back for his harassment seemed invigorating. "If only I wasn't a lone widow myself and had the courage to slap you." The old man gripped his dhoti. "What's this?" he said with a trembling voice as he looked at the villain. "You dirty, no-good, shameful fellow! Do you have no respect for your elders?" "No, father, don't call me father, Besharam." "Calm down, old man," the villain sneered. "I wasn't looking at—" "Not looking?" Dilkhush turned to the old woman. "Didn't you see him practically wanting to jump inside your blouse?" She looked at two men standing behind the villain. "Thank God real men are here to stop such disgraceful behavior." Dilkhush saw the men's eyes dart around. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the old man turned to them as well. "We are old and poor. We have no money to buy respect, but don't we deserve some decency?" One of the men's eyes flickered. He shoved the villain towards the nearest seat. "You perverted young men are all the same. Is your toy too new for you that you can't even shift your filthy eyes away even from an old mother?" The villain put his hands up. "Listen, brothers, that whore widow is making it all up. I didn't look at—" "Why should I make it up?" Dilkhush said to the two men, spitting as she spoke. "What chance does a widow like me have against the world? But such a disgusting mind he has, should I keep quiet about it? Today it is this poor mother. God knows who will be tomorrow." The bus driver climbed down from his cabin. "What's all this?" He grabbed the villain's arm so hard, Dilkhush could see the indentations. The villain struggled to get free and jumped off the bus. "Do you know who I am?" "Who?" the driver laughed. "Who are you? A minister's undercover chumche riding on the bus with bells on your balls, spying on us?" The villain glared at Dilkhush. "I'll see you around, lone widow. This is the last stop." He turned and disappeared into the crowd. Thank you.